Welcome to the Business SOS podcast. This is Rich Sierra, President of the Florida Small Business Legal Center. This is episode 90 of Business SOS as we continue our quest to episode 100, which is only 10 episodes away. Perhaps maybe in less than 2 months I'll be able to accomplish that goal, which I set nearly 2 years ago. So I'm very excited about that. As always, if you want to reach me, my email is richsierra.com. And my website is floridasmallbusinesslegalcenter.com. I have a very special show for you today. We've been listening to the rise of use of ChatGPT and AI. I'm very excited for our next guest, and you guys are going to really enjoy the show. I have the pleasure of having with me Vicente Silveira. He's the CEO or the co-founder of AI Drive. Is pioneering next generation of AI agents for intelligent document analysis and workflow automation. Under his leadership, AI Drive has evolved beyond simple document processing to create specialized AI agents that can perform complex research analysis, decision-making tasks across multiple documents simultaneously. With extensive experience in applied AI from leadership roles at WhatsApp, Uber, and LinkedIn, Vicente brings a unique perspective to creating AI systems that truly understand content, context, and user intent. At LinkedIn, he built the data science teams behind the company's security and anti-abuse infrastructure. And at Uber, he led fraud data science initiatives that protected millions of transactions daily. At myaidrive.com, has rapidly grown to serve more than 500,000 registered users on myaidrive.com. I'm one of them, demonstrating the market demand for intelligent agent-based solutions that go beyond basic document processing. The platform multimodal approach integrates cutting-edge AI models like Sonnet 3.7, ChatGPT 0.1, DeepSeek R1, and Gemini 2 into an agent framework that delivers business insights and decision support across industries. Vicente also serves as an advisor for Bay Brazil, strengthening connections between Brazil and Silicon Valley technology ecosystems. Vicente, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Rich. Very happy to be here.
I am very excited.
Hopefully contributing to for you to get to your milestone. That's very exciting.
Thank you. This is I'm very excited to have you in the show. I know we talked for a little while. I'm one of your clients, very satisfied client, and I'm still learning this technology as I go along. I think all of us are learning as well, because it changes so quickly and so dramatically that if you don't keep up with that, you're going to be left behind. So I'm glad that you're here with us to help us understand a little bit more about this technology. So let's start with what is AI, and just give us a little bit more background on AI and talk more about ChatGPT and what it can do for business owners.
Right. Yeah, I think by now, most of us have heard of AI or this AI revolution. It's in the news, and some of us have also kind of used ChatGPT or any of these AI tools. But in short, we are really living through a revolution in technology, and I've been around for some time now, and I've seen the beginning of the internet when I was still in university. And I think this is definitely as big as that. Like if we think of like what was life before the internet and what's life now when we have it, I think this revolution we're going through is at least as big as that, and potentially bigger. And it's also, I think, happening in a much more compressed time frame, right? So things are going to be changing faster, right? So that's kind of like a key thing. And really, AI as a technology, sometimes by different names. People used to call it machine learning, right, or different names. It's been around for a while, right? And the big companies like you imagine a Facebook or a Google, they have been using AI for many years now. But those were usually behind the scenes in very specialized functions, right? So what has happened is over the last maybe 2 or 3 years, we finally figure out how to make AI work for more generic tasks, and to the point that you could put that in front of pretty much anyone, and they can speak their own language and just talk to the AI in plain English or whatever language they speak, and the AI can actually increasingly become better at answering those questions. And then now, which is, when we talk about, and we'll discuss that with agents, not only just even answering questions, but also carrying on tasks, right? So the way that I like to think about this, and it's kind of interesting, is the AI is going to become closer and closer to how we think about of a coworker or an assistant, like that can help us, and not resemble as much as a computer, right, as we thought of it in the past, where it's like we have to learn how the computer works and kind of speak the computer language to be able to work with the computer, or use a software that we have to learn. The AI is kind of flipping that and allowing us to just talk to it, and it actually will do the reverse. It will learn how we work to help us do our jobs. So yeah, so lots of applications for what we can do with it.
I think the distinction that I see here is that, in a program, the programming language, you basically program to do a specific task, whether it's
Yeah,
Excel or a database, you pull out reports. Here, the difference that I see is the ability to reason,
yeah,
which is very exciting and scary at the same time.
that's right.
And the ability to process large amounts of data, that's where your product comes in a very short period of time, and organize it. And
Yeah,
so, and I agree with you that the way this is moving so quickly and changing, just have to keep up with it. There's really no way to learn this except get the crash course, the foundation, begin to use it, and keep up with it. And I think by the time they teach this in college, if they're already doing it, it's already obsolete. Because the
yeah.
information is just changes basically by the minute with new models and what it can do. I have another question for you. What led you to create myAIDrive.com?
Yeah. So my co-founder and I, we actually we've been working together for more than 13 years now, and always around AI, but like I said, in those more specialized versions of AIs that you would use it when you're using LinkedIn, where we worked, or at Uber, but you wouldn't even know that there was AI in there, right? Because we're just like making sure that things work for you. But when ChatGPT came out, the first version, uh, we were not even working together at that point, and as we started experimenting with it, we saw that this time something different had happened, right? And so we started like on the weekends creating little prototypes. And one of the things that we noticed when we first kind of put it out there for people to try is that people are really interested in using AI to help them understand documents, right? So we launched AI PDF on the OpenAI GPT store, and which is there today, and you can use it there. And it quickly went to the top of the charts, and is still there as one of the top GPTs out of like millions of GPTs worldwide. And quickly, it became clear to us that the problem of dealing with documents, not just like the quantity, but also sometimes the fact that documents are in areas that people don't understand. Like maybe it's a contract that you don't understand. Maybe it is a new law. Maybe it is, some manual with instructions on how to do something. So it's both the quantity of documents and the fact that documents can cover pretty much any subject area that attracted people to use AI to with this. So when we saw that and we saw how useful it was, for us it was clear that we had to build something that could bring all these AIs in one place, all your files, all your documents in one place, and then let them do the work for you.
Just briefly, what is AI PDF? What does it do? You mentioned it.
Yeah, yeah. So AI PDF is our GPT, which basically is it's kind of like an app that you can see if you have ChatGPT. You can go on ChatGPT, and then you see that there's like the GPT store, and then there you can look for in productivity. We are, I think, now number 4 worldwide as a productivity app. So you kind
Well,
of click there,
congratulations.
and then you can ask it a question about a document, you upload your documents, and then we offer you to be able to use AI Drive as the main repository for you to put all your documents there. So it's really our kind of PDF specialized way to use AI to answer questions about documents. And then once you use that, they're like, okay, this is so useful. I want to use this with more than PDFs. I want to use it with Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, things like that. That's where AI Drive comes in, because you can upload all of those in AI Drive, and they're permanently there, right? So in ChatGPT, you can upload maybe 20 documents, but in AI Drive, you can upload as much as you want,
Yeah.
and in different kinds of documents, and then you can use with AI. So that's really what it is.
Okay. Give me an example of how a business owner can use myaidrive.com.
Yeah, yeah, and we are also, of course, we are also a business, right? And we are a small business, like most of our customers are at this stage. We have really our sweet spot is small businesses and individual professionals, right? Businesses and professionals like you, Rich. And the way that we use and we see our users using it is as an assistant to automate some tasks that would take longer. For example, one thing that I do is I do my social media posts, right? So in AI Drive, I have a folder that has all the posts that I did in the past on LinkedIn. I download them there. It's a CSV file that I got from LinkedIn. And then I have this AI that I customize. We call them agents. So I customize that AI to help me create a social media post for LinkedIn, for X, and for Instagram. And just like I just say, this is what I want to talk about, right? And then because it already has like the goal of that task, which is to create a social media post, and it also knows from the history of my posts what my voice and tone is, it's quickly capable of creating like 3 options of posts that have my voice and tone, because you read all those documents with my previous posts that are in AI Drive.
Okay.
That's one way. The other way that we use it as well, it's also for just like back office type work. So we have like lots of vendors that we pay. We get those invoices and they go into a folder in AI Drive. And I can just say, hey, go into this folder. And I just type that in English, right? Go into this folder, get all my receipts for this month and put them into a CSV file so I know how much I'm paying to whom, right? In just one format. So we do those kinds of things. We see customers, for example, real estate agency, they receive emails with lots of documents from their customers, and they used to kind of spend a lot of time organizing that in say like a cloud drive. In AI Drive, what you do is that you tell the AI to organize that for you. So you just say, hey, in that folder, there's a bunch of documents, file them in proper folders. And AI Drive can go in, create those folders for you, read the documents and say, okay, these go here, these go there, and they move the documents for you in the right places. So you can do all these kinds of tasks in AI Drive. So it's really, it's the way we like to think of ourselves is we are sort of like the Costco of AI. So we bring all the best AI brands, not just OpenAI. We bring OpenAI, we bring Claude, we bring Google Gemini, we bring now even DeepSeek. We have that there. So you can have all the AIs in one place, and we allow you to have all your files in one place, and then you can basically use them all there to accomplish these tasks.
Yeah, that's a very important point you made. That so a customer can come in and basically have all the documents, say their receipts, their accounting documents, and whatever data they receive from customers, and then the my iDrive can actually, with a command, just natural language, just in plain English, you can ask them to go ahead and organize these and refile them somewhere else.
That's right. That's right.
That's amazing. I got to try that. I haven't used that yet. But also, you also mentioned that by using myiDrive.com, you give them access to different AI models as well.
Yeah.
So as opposed to having to subscribe to different models, you already have it within the subscription of a myiDrive, and then somebody can choose which model to use.
Yeah, that's right. One of the things that we heard from our customers is that they were paying, Google $20 a month. They were paying OpenAI the same. They're paying because they wanted, at this stage we are, which is actually good for the consumer and for small businesses. These AI providers are all racing to be on the top, right? And what happens with this competition is that there's a lot of innovation, fast-paced innovation, and they are trying to kind of outcompete each other. So that's the good part. The bad part is if you're just trying to keep up, it's really hard because one day you're uploading here, the next day you're uploading there, and then you don't even know. So we try to reduce that complexity for our customers, and we just bring these AIs in one place. So when they launch, you know you're already going to have it in AI Drive. We have this close partnership with OpenAI, with Anthropic, which makes Claude, with Google, of course, and now we have DeepSeek. So as soon as they have it, we launch it so that you have it all in one place. You're not missing anything. And we're also doing the job of and increasingly simplifying which model you should be using, right? Which is another question, right? So like, what should I use here? So we're doing some of that work as well.
So tell us about which models are better for what. I've used ChatGPT significantly, and I began to work with Sonnet as well. Just briefly,
Yeah.
which models are better for routine work? Which models are better for more complex work, for example?
Yeah, and it's interesting because these AIs these days they're actually not commodities in the sense that they all have their strengths and weaknesses, right? And with each generation, it changes. Right now, what I tell my customers is, even though we have all these options, we have more than one model per provider right now. Which can be overwhelming. My go-tos at this stage are Sonnet because it really writes well. I really like the way it can. A lot of the writing I want is if I'm writing a social media post, I want it to follow my voice and tone, like how I write, right? And Sonnet's really good. Giving some examples, it's really good at kind of following that style, right? So I really like the writing capability in Sonnet. And it's also a great model, and we'll talk more about that as an agent, right? In being able to execute these more complex tasks, like you mentioned, moving files around, doing those types of things, creating new folders, using those tools inside AI Drive. Sonnet right now, Sonnet 3.7, which is the latest that we have, it's really good. Now, I also like the Google Gemini family just because sometimes you want an AI to read lots of pages and answer a question with all of that information in their memory, or what they call the context, right? And these families of models, they are different because some can have a shorter working memory and some have a much longer. The Gemini family has a very long working memory, and also very cost effective as well. So I like that as well. And of course, there's OpenAI, and they're constantly coming up with new models, and we have that there. So that's also there.
What do you see the challenges that business owners are facing now in kind of implementing AI in their businesses?
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the challenges that, and these challenges have been around for a while. We have been solving them in different ways. Sometimes what we hear from our customers is they used to outsource a bunch of back office tasks. Sometimes even outsourcing out of the country because it was just not part of their core work, and they had to do all this reading and summarizing and like I said, creating a CSV, all of these files and all those kinds of things. So we see a lot of work, for example, in law, law firms. We see a lot of work around reading legislation, summarizing legislation, creating new legal pieces, right? Following your style, right? So it's like, I have here a brief that I want to write, and I have a folder full of my, past briefs here that have my style of how I do this. Just kind of like use that style, but let's work on this new client here. So that kind of work. The back office work around receipts, invoices, all these documents that come in. We see, like with real estate, we see a lot of like real estate documents that come in with like property information, how much it was sold for, what's the address of the property, which agent, real estate agent that was involved, extract all that information and organize it. So we see all that kind of work that our customers are doing.
If somebody doesn't know anything about AI, if they want to get started, by now they should have heard about it, but they want to get started with AI implementing their business, what would be the first step they should take?
Yeah, yeah. I think first thing I would say is it's great to kind of watch take a course or watch I guess instructional video on the internet. Those things are good, but nothing substitutes at this stage just using it, right? You have to be really using it to understand what's going on. And like you said, Rich, the space is changing so fast that a lot of these courses and material it becomes outdated very fast, right? So the only way to really keep up is to be using a kind of like a product that is keeping up with the evolution. And so, yeah, you go create an account on myiDrive.com. It's a free account. You can create a free account, and then if you like it, you can go into the pro subscription or team subscriptions like your organization. But just get using AI and make it a habit. I mean, even I'll tell you this, even when we work, like even working with sometimes with an engineer that has been trained in a way where using AI is not part of the muscle, right? Of the way you do things, you have to constantly remind. It's like you want to do this and go work with the AI, and then you come to me, and then we'll discuss about it. So creating that muscle is really important because it's a different way of working, right? It's like in the past, people wouldn't even Google something, right? Or use web search. And a lot of times people would come to some other people and say, oh, do you know this? And then people would say, oh, let me Google that for you, right?
Yeah.
And so let me ask the AI for you is the new thing. So creating that muscle and being that person that has a habit of checking with AI and is really, I think, the main part.
I agree with you. I think that AI proficiency is going to be a skill set, just the
Yeah,
way in years past having knowledge of Office 365 is a skill set. You apply for a job and you don't have Office 365 in your resume, you're not going to go anywhere if you're a professional. And I think
that's right.
that as we progress here, employers are going to look what is your knowledge of AI because pretty much every company is implementing some type of AI function in their organization.
That's right. It is 100% true. And when people ask me, sometimes I have friends. They're like, "Oh, I'm thinking of taking a job with this company. What do you think?" Or that other company. I tell them like, which company is telling you you have to use AI to do the job, and which company is telling you you cannot, right? Go away from the companies that forbid you from using it and embrace the companies that are more enthusiastic about that because they have being aligned that way will be fundamental for your ability to progress in the careers and the jobs of not even the futures, like kind of really the present that's coming in. So that's 100% I think the case. And I also like to think that when you use AI, you are automatically promoted to manager. What does that mean? What it means is, and people that have used ChatGPT or any of the AIs for a little bit of time, they realize that we call it prompt, right? And there's a lot of mystery about like, oh, you have to write your prompt, which is really just how you talk to the AI, right? And what's interesting about that is it makes you think about communication, right? So if you have a good manager or a good business leader, they have to be good communicators, right? When they talk to their employees, they have to explain this is what we're going to be doing. This is all the context. These are some of the corner cases that may come up, right? So setting all of that up is what makes a good manager or a good business leader. A lot of people, I would say most people in the workforce, haven't had a chance to exercise that skill because they're not managers or business leaders. They are the people doing the work, right? With AI, it's an opportunity and also a challenge for people to go and start exercising that skill. You ask something for the AI does it, it comes back, it's not what you want. Then you think like, oh, I see. I wasn't very clear when I asked, for this thing. So that by using AI, you're actually practicing these leadership skills, which are going to become extremely important in the future because we're going to have all these AIs being able to do all these jobs for us. So the leadership skills and also the initiative, or what they call sometimes the agency of kind of wanting to see something done and caring about the result and judging the quality of the result before you pass that on, which is skills of a good leader or manager. Those are the things that you want to practice. And AI actually allows you to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. You have to be very good at delegation, and if you're not getting good at it, you have to learn how to do it.
Yes.
Because the key to the prompts is really to extract the best you can from the AI agent using the model using there at the time, but you have to be good at delegation
That's right.
and have
That's
specific instructions in doing so.
yeah.
And that's really the key here. What I found out is the better instructions I provide, the better information I provide, the better output I get, the more specific
That's right.
output I get. But people have to become better at this and become, and this is it's going to be here to stay. So either you embrace it or be left behind. Those are the two choices. And if somebody's
Yeah.
starting their career, starting their business right now, you have to embrace this technology. Don't assume that you can do this without it because you're not going to be able to. It's like saying you're not
Yeah.
going to be able to survive without internet. No, you're not going to be able to if you're going to survive in this economy. You have to embrace it. Uh, the What are the industries that are embracing this? Which industry having the biggest impact uh, with AI? I don't know if they phrased it correctly. Which industries AI is making the biggest impact on? I think that's a much better question.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I would start with, what is my own industry, which is information technology or software development, tech or IT. AI is having a dramatic impact in this industry. Right now, if you are developing software, if you're developing applications, you must be using AI because it makes it in essence it sort of like it's a tide that rises all the boats, right? If you're an expert developer and you use AI, you're better, even better. You're superhuman. If you are a
Yeah.
beginner developer and you use AI, you're kind of fast tracking to become a more of a mid-level, right? But this is, of course, when I say use AI, it's not it's not like a freebie that you just use it and immediately you become that, right? It's not something that's going to be you can mail in the homework. No, it's a tool and it's a process that allows you to become better, right? You plus that tool, you become one, right? It's kind of like you have to have that the mind melding between you and the AI. So our industry extremely impacted, and when we look at things, and you heard, I think Facebook, for example, has said that they expect to have a number of engineer jobs in their company that will be basically AIs doing the job, and then the engineers will be a level above that, right? So our industry is very impacted. There's a lot of course, with all of this type of conversation, there is anxiety, right? As people are thinking, what does that mean, right? So, but the first industry impacted is even our industry, and everyone is being kind of really encouraged to adopt this technology and to be able to just really embrace it, right? So that's let me just do this. Yeah, so that's one. What we also see is law firms are really running for it. And of course, we have lawyers like you, and for us, we see a lot of the small and medium law firms, but law firms, big and small, they're all
Yes.
running for it because they operate on paper, right? And being able to be more efficient in looking at discovery documents, looking at depositions, finding case law, all of those activities are activities that AI can dramatically accelerate. So we see, law firms, real estate, like I said, another industry. We see also companies that have lots of documentation to support their customers and like manuals, things like that. They are also adopting it. So these are all types of organizations that are adopting it very fast. It's slower in areas that are very high regulated for the reasons that we would expect, right? Because access to this data, and there's a lot of things that need to be, it's a more complex environment.
We have a few more minutes to before we finish this segment. I want to talk about privacy and security in reference to how do people can have their information protected in AI in general, but also myaidrive.com in terms of the security of the documents that people upload into the application.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's a key area for us, and it's actually the background for both for me and my co-founder Kartik. So we have worked in these teams and built these teams, and we put out a lot of effort and process and technology to secure customer data and make sure that privacy is top of mind. One of the things that we do is, for example, when you use a tool like ChatGPT as a consumer, your exchanges there with that AI, especially if you're in a free program, or even if you pay, if you don't set up the right things,
Settings.
that may be used for training future generations of AI. And a lot of our customers, they express that one of the reasons they use AI Drive is because when we use those AIs from those companies, we have agreements with them where they're not going to use that data for training new models, right? So that's a very important thing that we do. And of course, we use encryption, right, to make sure that things are encrypted when they're stored. So all of those things that are best practices around data protection are very key. Because of course each business wants to keep their data within their control.
Yeah, I think you mentioned something important that I want sure the listeners understand is that if you're using the free version, in this case of ChatGPT, very likely your data is used to train other models. You have, I believe, well, I know that in ChatGPT, if you have the paid version, you have the ability to toggle a specific section to that your data and your information remains private and it's not used to share other models. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah. And I think you have to kind of proactive, even if you pay on ChatGPT, and that was the case, I believe it's still the case, you would have to go into the settings and turn on, the kind of the opt-out, right? In AI Drive, that is already the case, no matter what. If you have, a subscription with us, we're not training we're not using, your data to be trained. Mm-hmm.
This is a great interview. I want to bring you back again. I avoided the temptation of going to rabbit holes, so I think I did a good job to go in a specific rabbit hole, a specific model. But we certainly want to bring you back again. So how do people find you and find your company?
Yeah. So the simplest thing to do is just go to myaidrive.com. So it's myaidrive.com. So that's the simplest thing. Just go there and you can just create your free account and start using it today. And that's the easiest way. And we're also, of course, on all the social medias. I think you're gonna add that to the notes of the podcast. We can add that there too.
Yes, we're gonna be adding in the show notes the links to your website and also to your social media. If anybody listening today, you have not started with AI, it's a good time to start. Again, you can start just by asking for vacations, plans, recipes. Just begin to use it little by little. You become more comfortable with technology, and you're going to find out this is going to be useful for your business. Vicente, thank you very much for joining us today. I definitely want to bring you back again to talk more. Maybe we'll go in a rabbit hole at that point. My wife says, "Oh my gosh, he's talking AI. Just forget it." I lose her when I start talking this. I'm very excited about this subject, as you can tell. But thank you again for coming today, and we're certainly going to go back again for a follow-up interview. I'm going to close the show the way I close it. For those who want to reach me, my email is rich@richsierra.com. Remember to subscribe to our podcast and leave a review, and also share it with your other business owners as well. We have also this podcast also available through our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@RichardSierra. If you want to learn more about our legal services, my website is FloridaSmallBusinessLegalCenter.com, and our phone number is 866-842-5202. Remember that Business SOS, a como legal mistakes, business owners make and how to avoid them, It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can ask for your local bookstore. Until next week, this is Rich Sierra with the Florida Small Business Legal Center. Remember that my goal is to help you succeed.